welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Let's get into it. So, Game 6 of the 1984 NBA Finals. The Celtics had the game won. The Lakers came back. Byron Scott was a part of that comeback. Byron Scott played a big role in that comeback. Made a few buckets for them down the stretch. So the series goes to a game 7, right? So as the Celtics are walking off the court after game 6, okay, one of the Laker fans threw a bottle at ML Carr, okay? One of the Celtics fans. ML Carr was being a pain in the Lakers, especially for Laker fans, okay? And so as the Celtics are walking off the court in game 6, a Lakers fan threw a bottle at ML Carr, and it caught ML Carr in the eye, okay? The bottle caught ML Carr in the eye, obviously injured his eye, okay? And so the prevailing thought was when the Celtics came out for warm-ups in game 7, ML Carr came out wearing goggles, okay? And it was thought that ML Carr came out wearing those goggles for game 7 because he was mocking Kareem, okay? That's what it was initially thought, when really it was ML Carr was wearing goggles because the bottle that one of the Laker fans threw at him and caught ML Carr in the eye damaged his eye, okay? So obviously he had to wear goggles for game 7, but that's how much of a annoyance ML Carr was, okay? That's how much of an annoyance ML Carr was to the Lakers, who obviously showed much more restraint than the fans did, because the fans were tired of ML Carr. And guess when that one Laker fan threw the bottle at ML Carr? Yeah, that's how much of a annoyance he was, right? Okay. So, and of course, Celtics went on to win game 7, of course. So it's the 1994 season, okay? And the Nuggets are playing the Jazz at Nicholas Sports Arena, okay? And the games are almost over. The Jazz lead the Nuggets 94-86 with like a minute or so left to go in the game or whatnot. And so almost unbelievably, this is what happens after the Jazz took a 94-86 lead. This is what happens next. Here it is.
Back to Rodgers. It's a three-pointer, and it's good. Rodney with his second long range.
Pick up the D now. Get a steal. Oh,
yeah, they got the steal. Look at Scott Rodgers. He'll pull up, same spot. Same result.
Let's go. 2-point game.
There's another steal. Rodgers will try another three. Oh my God! Can you believe that?
Yeah. Rodney Rodgers hit. Rodney Rodgers hit 3 straight 3-pointers in a row. First one he hit, okay. Nuggets came down the floor. He hit one. Got a steal, hit another one. Then possibly they got another steal. That was probably the most unbelievable sequence. in the NBA up until that time. Okay, that was probably the most unbelievable sequence in the NBA up until that time. Up until the time we saw Reggie Miller the next year in the 1995 playoffs. Okay, versus the Knicks when he hit those 2 3 pointers. Okay, but so Jazz League 94-86. Rodney Rodgers hits a 3-pointer 94-89. And here's another one 94-92, 95-94. Okay. Nuggets thought they had came back and won the game. But unfortunately, there was still time left in the game, and Jeff Malone hit the game winning jumper with 12 seconds left to go. Okay. Then Rodney Rodgers attempted to go for the win, but this time they covered him because his shot was blocked by Tyrone Corbin. Okay. So it was pretty obvious that the Jazz had learned their lesson. It was pretty obvious that the Utah Jazz had learned their lesson. When Rodney Rodgers hit those 3-3-pointers. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, Jeff Malone hit the game winner. Rodney Rodgers' potential game winner was blocked by Tyrone Corbin. Okay. So, yeah. So I mentioned the other day how the Phoenix Suns had a losing record at home during the 1993 playoffs. Okay. Consequently, the Bulls had an excellent record at home in the 1993 NBA playoffs. Here's the irony of that, though. 2 of those losses that the Bulls had at home were in the NBA finals. Yeah. Go figure, right? Go figure, right? Because they were undefeated throughout the first 3 rounds at home. Then they lose 2 games at home to the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals. So, but having an 8-2 record at home in the NBA playoffs, that's pretty good. And ironically, kind of the same thing happened to the Orlando Magic. Okay. But it's a little bit of a different scenario. The Magic were 39-2 at home during the 94-95 regular season. Okay. The Magic were 39-2 at home. Okay, so yeah, I think it's safe to say that half of those 57 wins came at home, and they struggled on the road, particularly down the stretch of the regular season. And so they were 39-2 at home, right? Okay. But in the postseason, they lost in the first round to the Celtics, right? They lost a home game to the Celtics in the first round. And they also lost a home game to the Bulls in the second round. And then they obviously got swept by the Rockets, okay? So they had a winning record at home, 7-4, but that's a far cry from when you go 39-2 at home during the regular season, okay? So, yeah. By the way, speaking of 39-2, oh, man. The Bulls could have been the first team to go 41-0 at home, okay? And they were seriously going for that. They nearly challenged for that. Except Charlotte Hornets somehow found a way to defeat them at home, okay? And I think the Indiana Pacers did too. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, Boston still owns the all-time record for best record at home with 40-1 at home. And so, yeah. But it would have been cool to see the Bulls go 41-0 at home. 41-0 at home. And just to show you how dominant the second half of the three-peat Bulls were, they were a Scottie Pippen three-pointer away from the last game in the regular season. They played the Knicks the last game of the regular season. Okay? They were a Scottie Pippen three-pointer away for going back-to-back 71 seasons. Okay? That's how dominant they were. Okay? That's how dominant they were. And so, yeah. All right. That's it. And that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. But wait. Actually, I have one more thing to add. That's how dominant the Bulls were. But still, I got to put the 86 Celtics. I got to give the 86 Celtics just a slight edge over the 96 Bulls. Okay? I got to give the 86 Celtics a slight edge over the Bulls. Okay? All right. Now I'm done. All right. That's it. That's all. I am out of here. Peace out. Be blessed, y'all.